Hey, we're Stonebrother, and we're here to take you behind the scenes for the songs of our new album, New World Incorporated. And this time we're going to be having a look at Seven Paces.
Absolutely.
Seven Paces is relatively new in the grand scheme of things. This was one of the last songs on the album that we actually wrote, and the story behind this one is sort of weird and convoluted in a fun kind of way, in that the origins of it come from a couple of different places. There was, on the one hand, back in 2020 when that whole thing was going on.
You recall.
If you were there. And everything went to hell in a handbasket. Our mother had a friend who, was it Italy that he was stuck in?
Something.
I think it was Italy. He was stuck in a hotel room in Italy because he had been traveling for work, and then, if you can believe it, he wasn't allowed to travel to get home.
For some reason.
Yeah, who knows why these things happen. But the specific story that our mother was telling us over and over again was about how she had this friend who was stuck in Italy throughout this whole thing for months on end, just getting room service a couple times a day just to survive, not allowed to leave this really small hotel room. And she specifically said, yeah, and he keeps telling me that it's just 7 paces wall to wall. There's a song for you guys to write right there. 7 paces wall to wall. And of course, as you do when you're teenagers, you're like, yeah, we'll get to that at some point. And then 1 or 2 years after she brought this up for the first time, I had started drafting down ideas for a rock opera that I'd wanted to do at one point. This has sort of been backseated since then. I don't see this one actually coming to fruition anytime soon.
You never know.
It may be in like 3 or 4 albums from now, but you know, for now there's no plans to make this one happen. But I had this idea for this rock opera that was about a guy stuck in a really small room, just walking around, talking to himself, and slowly losing his mind as this goes on through just like the lack of social interaction and just the incessant humming of fluorescent lights. Because anybody who's spent enough time in a building that has the fluorescent light beams knows that after a while that hum starts to really get to you.
Yep.
It sort of uncovers things that you never knew about yourself. But so I'd started writing stuff like that, and I drafted this song that I called Stuck in Neutral, that was sort of about this state of being in one place and not being able to do anything or change up your routines enough to feel like you're actually going anywhere or doing anything. The title itself, Stuck in Neutral, I'm not much of a car guy, so it's not a car reference at all. Well, not directly anyway. It actually comes from a book that I read in 7th grade. I don't remember exactly what it was about now. I remember really enjoying it at the time, but it was called Stuck in Neutral in any case. Stuck in Neutral is a short novel by Terry Truman about a 14-year-old kid named Sean McDaniel who has cerebral palsy and has been confined to a wheelchair for his entire life and unable to speak or write or do any form of communication with anybody. And the crux of the book is Sean realizes that his father might be planning to kill him because his father doesn't want him to suffer and doesn't know that he isn't suffering because they have no way to actually communicate with each other. It's a really great book, so if you haven't read it, I would definitely highly recommend it. And I always thought that was a really cool title for it's exactly what it is. You're stuck in one place, you can't move, you can barely think or breathe, and I feel like a lot of people have been in that place. But then when it came time to be working on the album, here's a song that I've been working on, Stuck in Neutral, and that sort of went through edits and modifications and became 7 Paces.
If I recall correctly, you sent up the lyrics to me, and I looked through it, and what you had written as sort of I don't think it was even a chorus. I think it was just a section of the song.
I think you're right about that.
I've just pulled out and put those chords to it and sang the melody. It all came like immediately.
Yeah.
That became the chorus of the song.
Which I think it's for the best, because my particular writing style with this kind of stuff is very much like with pretty much any songs that I write when I'm doing lyrics is just massive blocks of text. I'm not very good at writing concise lyrics that just sort of get to the point. I think that it's cool, but I can definitely see how it can be frustrating to try to put it to lyrics when it's just great long swaths of words.
Well, it tends to work well for me though, because I can take the massive text and just pull out pieces and rearrange it into stuff like we did with Seven Bases.
Yeah, absolutely. And the lyrics on Seven Paces are honestly some of my favorites that we have of any song. Just because they're very... I guess the best way to put it is they're very, like, cutthroat and very brutally honest about just, like, a state that most people have been in but don't have the words to explain because it's tough to put complete apathy into words beyond I don't care.
Sure.
So it's really fun to me being able to express that level of like anger and frustration about things in such a cool song. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I'm gonna toot the horn.
Fair
It's
enough.
a good song.
I think so.
Yeah.
Once in a while, you get a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, and this one came about after we won the Surge battle, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I believe you're right about that.
Yeah, and I believe we had decided at that point we're doing an album. We need songs to fill the album, so we were looking for it, and this one came fairly quickly. And I remember when we were writing it, I believe after we had all the lyrics, we were trying to figure out what other things that we could do. And when we were doing the guitar solo, I remember trying to figure out the chord progression that was going to go behind that. And we went the first 4 bars or so, and then, all right, this sounds good. I'm going to change here, and then go back to the original chord. And then at that point, I realized that I had written a 12-bar blues. But thought it was cool, so...
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta go back to the basics, I guess.
Stuck that in there. And one neat thing about that song, kind of harmonically, which is to say with the chord changes, is that there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's a lot of chromaticism, which is like hitting all of the notes basically.
Yeah.
Like the song itself is in, like the chorus is in the key of C.
Yep.
But the verse is based around D minor, which is sort of like an implication of the C scale, but in the D minor Dorian, which is the same as C major. Yeah. Without getting too heavy into the theory thing here.
He has a music degree.
I do have a music degree, but it's like it's rooted in D minor, but it cycles
it's
back.
The saddest key.
Indeed. But it cycles back to the C through that chromaticism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of chromaticism through the transition parts, and the solo is in F sharp minor, which is as far away as you can mathematically get from C. It's a tritone.
I'm pretty sure that at some point in that song we do hit all 12 notes.
Whether through held chords or from sliding around,
Yeah. That it's really you mentioned the bit about the 12-bar blues. It's cool because if you know your rock history, the blues is one of the big foundational building blocks of rock music as a whole.
It's everything.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny to me that we talk about the going back to the basics thing with that in the context of this song, when structurally this is probably the most complicated song that we have.
Yep.
Just because it moves around and switches up so much, not to mention the irregular meter, putting it in 7/4 time in the first place. That so much so that while we were writing it, we actually had to get a big whiteboard and physically write out all the changes and stops just to keep track of what was going on at one point. So the first couple of times that we played through it, we were just staring at this whiteboard, just like, okay, so this goes to here and this goes to here. And for some reason, I ended up being the one to write down all this notation. I don't have a music degree. My grasp of music theory is minimal at best. So a lot of it is very poorly written. For all the chromaticism part, I just sort of did a downward squiggly line. It's just anything to communicate what I mean, good enough.
That's really what notation is. You should see some of the things I've written and read. Yeah, and I mean the meter of it, the time signature is like you say, through the verses is 7/4, and we thought that was cool because of the name of the song. At that point, we had it written as Seven Faces.
Yep.
And then we decided, let's do some word painting here, which is to say using the lyrics to kind of paint the picture and doing different things to add detail to this. So we thought it would be really neat if Seven Paces was written in 7/4 because 7 and 7, of course.
Yeah.
But also because 7/4 tends to be a little bit kind of off center. There's something a little strange about it if you don't know your music theory, because there's a beat missing. So you know that something is up, but you don't know how to count that.
I've had people ask me what was so special about Seven Paces that it sticks with them so much and makes them feel off balance about it.
Yeah.
So it's exactly that. That's what I keep telling them. It's in 7/4.
Which
so
is
it's
hilarious.
Really weird.
It's hilarious to watch people try to dance.
Oh,
to it.
absolutely. It's very funny.
Hi, I'm Renata Bliss and I'm your freestyle dance teacher.
Themselves all tangled up. It's quite funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the recording this one was a blaster.
Oh, yeah. It was a
was-
lot of fun.
As was all of them.
I can remember when we were drafting this, we had a recording note set aside that we kind of wanted it to paint the scene a little bit more with a series of 7 footprints going sort of a weird production thing where we'd have them like get louder as they approach and then quieter again as to be the narrator going back and forth across the 7-pace room. And I'm not disappointed that we didn't do that, but I do think that if we ever put this on anything else, it might be cool to throw that,
I don't remember that, but it sounds like a neat idea.
It was a cool idea. We'll use it for the Greatest Hits album in however many years.
But we did put all sorts of other things in there.
Oh yeah, like that bit right after the guitar solo
Yeah.
jumps out to me in particular.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there's, I think there's pretty well anything from, rambling nonsense to cries of despair to,
I was reciting a couple of Shakespeare soliloquies on that, I think.
anything that we could think of came out, and then
Yeah,
a couple of my signature held screams.
Yep. I do remember the I gotta get out of here scream quite well.
Alice Cooper.
Yep, that was pretty fun. And I actually have a specific memory of, because I was in my second year, I think, of my English degree while we were working on getting this stuff ready, and I went in to see my my Shakespeare prof, because I was taking a Shakespeare class at the time, and I said, my band is working on a song about going crazy. Shakespeare has some great plays that are about people who go absolutely crazy.
Bit known for it, actually.
Yeah. Can you point me in the direction of some more concise lines or bits from these soliloquies or speeches that really emphasize going crazy? And she said, well, look at stuff from Hamlet, of course, and King Lear. And so I took those and also delved into a little bit of Edgar Allan Poe for my bits on that. And then we sort of interspersed that with the rambling, mumbling nonsense to just make this weird cacophony. And all the credit to Lil for being able to make all that sound actually really good.
Yeah, he had fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of them was one of us, me, I think, ordering a McDonald's meal that I took from my buddy Robin doing he did a YouTube series with his brother that they did the same thing, and I thought that was hilarious.
Oh,
So
that's
I totally
great.
stole that. Thanks, Robin.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's hidden there somewhere, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I mean it was just good fun. And this was just a good fun, and that stuff was based off of, I knew that I wanted to do that in the beginning because of the theme of the song. And what came to me was Coma by Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Off of Use Your Illusion. Did that kind of thing with all the voices. He's supposed to be in the coma, and all these people are kind of talking over him.
Okay.
I believe is what's going on there. So the inspiration for that for me was similar to that, but let's do all the voices in his head and all the different sort of personalities and things that he's thinking in this tiny little room, metaphorically and physically. So that was largely where that came from.
And it's really cool that later on, when we started to promote that as a bit of an after-album single, the artwork that Emerson Barnes did for that actually sort of captures that a little bit, with the broken mirror on the bed and the different faces saying something different to him and all that. fun stuff.
Well, I always love giving her my harebrained half description of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And her coming back with something completely different and so much better than what I had envisioned, which is nothing. I don't see these things when I give them to her. I just say, this is what I'm vaguely thinking, go. And she comes back with, oh, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, the secret on that stuff, I think, is to get people that aren't great at art but can come up with really crazy, weird ideas and get them to work with a really great artist like Emerson who can take that, throw in crazy, weird ideas of her own, and turn it into something really cool that we never thought of in the first place.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Yeah, and this one's also really fun to do live.
Oh yeah,
People like this one because it's kind of like the chorus is very memorable and sort of pop songy.
Yep.
And yeah, people like this one because it sticks with them. And live is just so much fun to do because of that. It's very dynamic and bouncy and all that good stuff. And
it's
of course,
got a very memorable chorus to it.
And
as
of
well,
course,
I
get
think
to do that big long scream in the middle. That's always
people
fun.
love it when you hold a note for a really long time.
Anything else can be just thrown out the window. If you can hold a semi-high note for a good 20 seconds, then that's what they're really after.
It's sort of the opposite of that. A really fun thing that we do on that right after that really long held scream, right after the guitar solo, that is to just like cut everything out and leave it in silence and just see how long we can let that sit. Because on the album it's just like, I think it's just 7 beats and then we're right back into it.
Something like that.
But when we're doing it live, it's always just like me behind the kit and whichever hired gun we've got at the time, just like staring at you intently, waiting for the
cue.
And go.
Well, we made it a little bit easier when it live, when it's just I just play the guitar and you sing the vocal.
Yeah.
So I'll just hit the chord and you jump in.
But it makes it harder for me because I need to watch your back for when you go like that.
Yep. We've gotten pretty good at cueing each other with that stuff.
Well, that's years of practice coming in right there.
Yeah, a lot of the single headstock hit. It's fun. It's always fun.
Yeah. And this one in particular is really cool because it's the only track on the album that really transitions into the next one very cleanly. That's one of my favorite things in albums. Like, one of my favorite albums of all time is Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Of course.
And I love the way that it's technically like 4 sides because it's 2 records, side A, side B each, but I like that it feels like the 4 sides of that record are just like one long song on each side. I really like how clean everything moves through it, so I wanted to have a little bit of that in this. So it was great that 7 Paces and Swan Song are relatively in the same key with C and A minor.
Yep.
So it was cool that we could get that little interlude in there. But we were also thinking that I don't like that we need to think like this sometimes, but we did need to think a little bit in terms of, streaming service algorithms and all that. And the point that somebody brought up is that if you've got songs that have great long instrumental pieces at the beginning or end, people tend to skip those.
Yeah.
And if you've got a bit that everybody skips, that song gets a little bit buried. And we knew that we wanted 7 Paces and Swan Song to be singles at some point. So we came up with the idea to sort of merge those two into a transitional piece right in between the 2 songs so that they could begin and end and still be good lengths without sacrificing anything and keeping that little bit of clean flow to it. And the name for that one, Out of the Bunker, that I really like that little touch because that
was all you.
Yeah, well, we've talked about before how when we started recording the album, the New World Incorporated theme hadn't been come up with yet.
Yep.
And it wasn't until later on when we were planning our End of the World show thing that the concept of New World Incorporated as an entity beyond the lyric and Polarize even came up. And so we didn't want to just call it Interlude or anything like that because we felt that was a little corny. Mm-hmm. But so we were looking at titles, and I was thinking about that End of the World show and how it was like, well, coming back to the what world can we create on the stage idea, where this is the show after the nuclear apocalypse. The apocalypse, you know the one. After the nuclear apocalypse has happened, and so people aren't just like going about their day to day at this point in our little world. They'd be living in like bunkers and fallout shelters. And so the idea is to like go to the record store and get this album, or to come out to the show, you would go out of the bunker. So this is so it serves a couple of purposes there, where just the name of it in the context of where it fits is sort of you've come out of the bunker and listening to it, but it's also sort of a 7 Paces is about the claustrophobia and going mad from that, and then you're out of the bunker, out of that small enclosed space, and you get into Swan Song, where everything is falling apart.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good little touch on a couple of levels there.
Yeah, I think so. And it's, it worked out. It did really quite well as a single on its own before the album came out. And even after the album, it continued to do pretty well. It's a bit of a fan favorite.
Yep.
It's certainly a band favorite.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it worked out well.
Well, that is the story behind the song 7 Paces, with Out of the Bunker thrown in there as a little bonus for all of you. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.
Yeah.